Welcome to the Zentangle Project Pack Series number 5. My name is Rick.
Hey, I'm Maria, and this is the final video in our series. Sorry to say, we've had so much fun with
This has
this,
been great.
so many cool things, and we thought that we would show you all of our work we did in preparation for this project.
And a little bit more than, what
Yeah,
we did on the videos and all of the make ready,
yeah, so a lot of these things, a lot of them happened because we started on a project and under the camera and forgot to turn the camera
Yeah,
on. So we'd get 3/4 of the way through this really great piece and then had to start over again. And then rather than start over the same project, we started a different one. So a lot of these
I
were
know.
supposed to be in the project.
So one of the things that we did is I think we did the video on this one, but we went and found some frames. We got like old frames all over the house. And
Just to show you what it would look like with a frame on
yeah,
it.
and we actually love going to finding old frames in antique stores. And
One of my advice things about framing, if you're going to use old frames, is to find the frame first because it's really easy to cut a piece of paper to fit
yeah,
a frame, whereas it's hard to get a frame to fit a piece of paper.
yeah.
So that will make a lot of sense when you start looking at small frames in antique shops. And what I do is if I see one I like, I just buy it and put it aside, and then someday I'm going to use it in one of my projects.
Okay, so that's let's see, what do we have next here? So I think we might have seen this one.
I don't think, maybe in the beginning,
Yeah.
yeah. So this was a brooch that came from Rick's family, one of his aunties, and it's the most beautiful brooch. And it just every time I would put it on, I would take it off. It was so formal, and um, I thought, well, wouldn't it be neat to have it on the wall somewhere? It's so pretty. So it was one of the first ones I did for this pack, and I love the different colors that went together
Mm.
on this.
So the blue, the black, the
The brown,
brown,
yeah,
yeah,
really pretty.
and the light and dark. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, and some of these things, afterwards, I would add a little colored pencil and things like that. So it it wasn't really part of what we did, but what you can do with it for further things. And this was the one that we did with Wyatt, and I loved this energetic, beautiful, fun, crazy little cartouche. I'm hoping you guys try this. This is
Well,
fun.
I also like the whimsical border of the frame
Mm-hmm.
matching the very whimsical string-esque cartouche that you did there.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I think, a new one.
Well, we had to put envelopes into your project pack so that you could either treat your pieces as a greeting card or do whatever you want. But then I thought, well, let's do something with the envelope. And so there's Indian Mazzy going, oh, Grandma, Grandma. So those are different things that you can
So
do.
we put that in. That's not where she lives, but you can get the idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And let's see, what else do we have? Oh, well, this is one we did. I think, Maria, did you do? No, we didn't do this
No,
one.
I don't think we did this one but I think Molly used this technique in the piece that she did with the embedded pattern here, and I had embedded a heart and this beautiful little touching photograph. So this was Martha's, and I just love this piece that she did. It complements the black or the brown tone photo that's here. Uh, just so nicely. Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
And I know that all of these are going to be framed in our house,
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
I'm trusting that a lot of the things that you guys did are going to find a frame and a beautiful place to enjoy them.
And this was the first one we did, and simple, easy to tangle. It didn't take very long. So if you were going to do it as a gift for somebody or quickly on a greeting card, this is your go-to.
And we found this, which is just really awesome. This is a cartouche of the sky, I think,
Well,
right?
it was a cartouche that I was going to put some lettering in, but I didn't know which lettering I was going to put in there yet. So I think I had a one-word thing, but I just liked the looks of the brown Knightsbridge in there.
what is the sky? Was that watercolor
It
pencil?
was a turquoise and pink watercolor pencil with a lot of water mixed in. And this was one on a tile with some Huggins and off-centered. I like the idea of doing something off-center for a change. I wanted you to see it for that reason. And this is one of the prototypes, original prototypes I had done, so that that's Ricky when he was like, well, how old were you there? 3,
Young?
3, 4. He was an only child, so there were a lot of pictures of him. But I love the the little bit of blue in the sky and the brown and gray. It's really nice.
And then the off-centerness of
Mm-hmm.
that is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the one that Julie did on her video.
Yeah. And this is Arbus.
Arbus, I believe.
Arbus,
Yeah.
yeah. So Julie did, I think, 4 pieces to prepare for this session, and she used basically the same look on each one and tried it on different, using different tangles. That's so cute. Look at her. It's her niece, Sophia.
Right. And
Here's another version of
shot.
that.
I don't think she shared this one before.
This one's really cool because the photograph, she cut something on the edge of the photograph, and the photograph wouldn't have been usable, but by having her just part the way there is such a sophisticated idea. I love this, and the white space and the
really
everything
cool.
about it. And this is fun. This is Julie's grandmother with Desi Arnaz. Her grandmother was a dance instructor. How cool is that? Look at, you can almost feel the dance in the border. It's so lovely. Really cool.
Very cool.
And this was the prototype, another one I did of Martha and Molly, and used that embedded thing to put M&M here for my girls. I love this piece. This is Rick's aunties, probably the ones that gave us the brooch, right?
Right.
I love this here. This just combination of these colors and the Knightsbridge and the leaves and the everything about that. And there's that tangle I did 3 and 3, which I really like.
Yeah, I like the this on the bottom and this on the top. It's just really, really sweet. And again, that use of poke leaf as a border. Speaking of,
another prototype, me and Molly, Martha. Nice colors. And this is the one that Molly ended up using, right, in her video.
On her video.
It's awesome. Love it. Love it. I love the brown on the tan paper.
And look at how impactful those little white orbs are. Just selectively added in.
And how she made the heart out of the
right?
Out of the whole thing. It was really nice, sweet. Everybody's fighting for that one. Yeah. And this is one of the prototypes I did really early on when we first decided to do this project, before we even knew what we were going to give you as supplies. So I had added some, colored pencil, and so we're showing you these things where you can take it a little further. But this is a great shape. So first I did the square, and then the border of the square, and then I added, these shapes, and then ordered that.
And then the shading of it just makes it like very three-dimensional.
Yeah, three-dimensional. That's cool. So these were the buttons, which everybody really loved the buttons. And just to give you an idea how it looks in a frame, and an idea of maybe grandparents, your grandmother and your grandfather's buttons, and maybe the dates they were married or something. It would make a really neat kind of a gift, maybe for somebody else in the family, or to them, or on their anniversary, any of those kind of things. These are all different options. This is a penny that we found on one of our walks. And
so I don't know if we pointed this out the last time, but the border here is a collection of M's and R's.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just repeating, repeating, repeating,
Well,
repeating.
okay, so you can see the M on the outside, and then the M on the inside, and, and the R is where that has the let's see,
Right.
right here where the crescent
Yeah.
moon is. So those are letters that sort of disappear into the border. It's kind of a neat thing. We didn't do this one.
Oh, right.
This one I love. This one is Indiana, and you can see that I wrote her name around here, Indy, 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 all the way around as part of the, the border tangle. It's kind of fun, and it looks just so nice. These are frames I had just gotten at, like, I don't know, Home Goods or something. There was a whole series of them that were just beautiful.
Oh, beautiful
It's
pattern.
a heavy metal, beautiful, and they weren't that expensive.
Let's see here.
And these are some that we had done at different times. Again, this is Rick's aunts. I loved these pictures of this series of pictures of his aunts, and I did it on a Zendala. So I put the square picture in the middle, and then folded these over, and then it became something that just stands. I added a weight in the back so it stays standing. Isn't that fun? Look at that. And when you see it from the side, there's the side. It's just so lovely, lovely. Again, the same thing with this. This was a apprentice tile, a black
Right.
apprentice tile, and we put the picture in the middle, cut off the bottom, and then we cut this heart out
Yeah,
here.
cool.
Is Molly and Mazzy, and there's M and M for Molly and Mazzy, and they stand up really nicely. So if you wanted somebody to send somebody a photograph and didn't want to frame it, or this is your baby there. And
And
again,
with that same idea.
Mazzy, the same
And
thing. That
so
was a
this one stays because, again,
I have a nickel there.
so just did a little wedge. It didn't even need glue.
Yeah. And this one's, it's just so cute to have on a little table or a shelf. It's a great way, if you don't have a frame that fits the picture. So this was just a tan tile, a Renaissance tile. And there's Molly and Nick. This was another one of her prototype pieces that she
Yeah, and
went
I
through.
think she mentioned this in doing it, that she, oops, went over the edge of the painting of the picture, and then just, well, let's just make it part of the whole presentation.
Yeah,
And this is using the embedded letter
technique,
approach.
yeah.
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 And then this is one of my favorites, because one of the reasons it's such a favorite is that this never would have been done had it not been for what was a real, at the moment,
Tragedy, yeah.
tragedy of this these shelves with this one. Well, babe,
Teacup.
you
And
tell the story.
so my dad had given me a teacup and saucer that had belonged to his mother, and it was the only thing that anybody in my family owned that belonged to my grandmother. And I had it in a very special spot in a very special cabinet, and the shelves just came down one day. I don't know, because I walked too hard, or I don't know. We live in an old house, and everything in the whole shelf got destroyed. And I cried and cried. I sat there and picked up all these pieces, and I lovingly put them away in a box, almost like an urn, and decided that someday I'll make something out of it. And the other day I just came out, and it was right before Christmas, and I decided we were designing this project pack, and I took out the pieces and I started adding some tangles on the edges. I don't know if you can see them very well, just so to make it look like I want these edges to be known that this is what happened. And what ended up, I was able to make one for all my 6 brothers and sisters, and then I have one to keep too, and that didn't happen until I broke it. So it was a great one. And this is such a sweet picture, black and white of Indian Mazzy. And Molly did one border on the tan with again the embedded letter technique. And then she mounted that on a black tile and went over it again with white. So it has this really beautiful layered look of multiple colored schemes.
And then using that same embedded letter technique, and here
This is in her journal,
in her journal,
which is a whole nother ball game there. You can
right?
start adding photographs to your journal, intermingling and with your tangling, which would be so nice to, every once in a while open up to some of your favorite photos, that are in there. It's a nice thing to do. And another one, this is another one of those frames that I had gotten at Home Goods, and it was perfect for Rick's coin that he framed. It's just so pretty. It has some bronze highlights in the verdigris colors here in the frame, just really striking.
So one of the neat things I forgot to mention in the video is not only does this coin have crescent moon, but it's got the Zentangle logo.
Yep, there
So
it
I
is.
just
Yeah.
love that whole concept of that opening within something really hard. You've got this opening and let things through. And then this is one of the favorites here of mine.
So this was the piece that I had done with the gold ink on the black paper. And this frame, which is really weird, had an old photograph in it. And it's actually made out of cardboard or paper.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's metal, but it's not. And it was the perfect frame for this. It just fit it so nicely. And this again was an old watch that was in Rick's family. And I did a little tiny little Zentangle and stuck it in there with some nail polish over it to sort of protect it. It's a really nice piece.
So this is one of the videos, and it's a great timepiece,
Yes.
right?
And one of the last things that we wanted to talk about is if you're still looking for inspiration, our book, The Primer, Volume 1, is loaded with cartouches. Maybe you haven't noticed it, but even just, wait a minute, wait. Just the cover,
Oh yeah.
this cartouche. And what you can get out of this is all the different tangles that you can use and different ideas. There's another one. And they're actually, it's every chapter heading is a different one and different tangles because it has to, I use the tangles that we were talking about in the chapter. So if you don't already have a Zentangle primer, this is the time to get it.
So we just didn't know that we were doing cartouches at the time, but
Well, I probably did, but it's because my background in art and my work as an artist has always been sort of commercial, using things for sale or to be published or to be reproduced as opposed to a painting on the wall. That was my strong suit. And these are all really cool. Gives you some great ideas of how to manipulate your tangles into a border. This is one of my favorites, and this is on the cover of the Reticulon Fragment book too, which is a whole other thing that's a worthwhile investment. I use it all the time. And this, I think, look at, see all the different things. And this has got a very Mucha-esque look. I mean, Mucha as the artist did a lot of things like this with these arcs and circles and things in the circles and things in the corners. And very fun.
so thank you so much. This was a great
Thanks
series.
for playing along with us.
And
We saw so many beautiful things posted on the
I know.
app, and it's so gratifying to us to see them in practice.
And you hear us talk about the app, and we have an app that is called Zentangle Mosaic, and it's available for Android and for iPhone and iPad. And there's no cost to download it and search and see all of the tiles that people have posted under the hashtag PP05 for Project Pack 05. So you can just download that and do a search and see everything that people have posted. So
So there's another part of the app too, where if
if you subscribe, you can post and comment.
you can
Yeah.
post and comment, and then there's also other things that are available to
Yeah.
people's
So we have step outs for subscribers and special videos for subscribers.
kitchen table tangles and things like that. Yeah.
So, again, thank you so much for playing, and continue to enjoy this and rewatch the videos and maybe do some other things with those beautiful keepsakes that you come across in your house.
Well, see you later. Bye.
Bye now.